Dumpster Dive is a wacky little show by Onerotier Presents, hosted by Persephone Rose, that's me, where I explain niche, unimportant things about various media and stories to my poor, unsuspecting victims. This time I'm joined by my regular guest, Avi Krintz. If you're interested in keeping up with, supporting, or even giving suggestions of topics to the show, you can email us at onerotier@gmail.com, find us on Twitter, Instagram, and our newly established Facebook page, @Onerotier. Onerotier is spelled Oneirotteer, which I specify since it's a word I made up, so you can probably see why it's important for me to spell that out. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoy this episode.
Seth? God, I forgot how gross this place is. Seth! Oh, I keep tripping over stuff. Who cleans this? I guess it's... okay. Oh God, what the fuck is that? Is that a what? Whoa. What? Jesus fucking... oh my God! Seth, are you... Seth, okay, I'm opening the dumpster. I'm gonna open it. Okay, oh my God, what the fuck? What is happening?
On the wall.
What?
Get me out of here.
Okay, I'm opening it. What is that? What the fuck happened? I haven't seen you in 6 months.
I got drafted.
You got drafted?
I was on the Eastern Front. Avi, I saw so many things. Oh my God.
Oh, gee, okay. Should we get you to like a hospital or any kind of like,
No, they amputated me. I'm fine. Let me get my trusty canteen.
Yeah. Why did they just drop you though?
I was dishonorably discharged. So as you can see, I'm dressed all in military garb.
Yeah, it's
Here's
really dirty.
My helmet. It's real. It's not that sexy. It's not that sexy of a look. I don't look good in camo.
I do agree. We should make the uniform sexier.
We should make the uniform sexier. I personally think we should add fishnets, but
I mean,
they wouldn't listen to me. So okay. I'm back home, I guess. How long have I been gone?
It's been quite a few months.
Has Dumpster Dive been updating regularly? I had some episodes like pre-recorded that I told. So I had this new hiree. He's a chimpanzee named Chester, and he was supposed to like.
I met him. He was really nice.
Okay.
I did kind of drop the ball. He did not update Dumpster Dive.
I am noticing.
Regularly.
In this dumpster, there is a newspaper with an obituary for Chester.
Actually, I did help him fake his death so he could escape some tax fraud. He's fine.
Okay, thank God.
We had to take a break from the recording process for a little bit, and that was entirely Chester's fault.
Okay, it's nice hearing this. Even though we kind of dropped the ball, it's nice to be grounded back in reality after coming back from the Eastern Front. Mm-hmm. I was sent back to the 1940s.
Yeah.
Avi.
Yeah.
I didn't kill anyone, but do you remember the movie War Horse, where there was just like a horse running around? They were out of horses, and I was just kind of running around giving people rides.
Substitute War Horse.
And things got weird because like I started turning into a horse, and not all the all the army soldiers, they weren't all humans. They were like sexy tigers and like
sounds real traumatic. Yeah.
So after the last episode, when I was turned into a zombie, I was in a bit of a funk and wanted to go some employment options, and on an unrelated note, I got sent back in time.
That just happened.
And
sometimes that happens.
There was a sexy tiger like recruiting officer, and she like had big Pixar dream like anthro tits and a big dump truck ass, and so I was all like, hey girl, and she said, because she's a tiger.
She's a tiger, yeah.
I was confused and I was intrigued and I was ready to see what the world had to offer, and that's how I got drafted.
Yeah.
I fought Germany and the Russians.
Germany all by yourself.
All by I was the warhorse.
You were the warhorse.
I was the warhorse, and well, you may notice this. I'm clutching this journal. It's kind of, I met someone in the war, a kind of a companion, a compatriot, a fellow soldier, someone who fought with me.
A brave person, yeah.
And I thought I should tell his story today, because he was fighting for a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He was fighting for us, and he was fighting for his true love. I don't know what happened to him, but he left his locket behind. You know those lockets where it has
it has like a picture of someone on the inside. Yeah.
So there was a picture of him, and it was a picture of Judy Hopps from Zootopia, and that's why today we are reading Walkrunner x Judy Hopps, a new story on Wattpad. Intro sequence. Do. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dumpster Dive. I have shell shock syndrome. Wait, what? Is it shell shock?
Yeah.
Avi's in shell shock after hearing the bombshell that I dropped on. I shouldn't say bombshell. Avi. The things these hands have done. The things these hooves.
Wait. Can you read the title one more time?
The what?
The title.
So, I've actually not read it yet.
Yeah.
I'm dusting off this journal, and it's a memoir of sorts.
Yeah.
This is Game After Life, Judy Hopps' Heart Walkrunner. So, let's talk a bit. Let's talk about the author.
Yeah, let's talk about this.
Dredd Astley Sanchez, also known frequently as Walkrunner.
I have no idea who that is.
Now, a big old thing I want to get out of the way, Walkrunner is bilingual, and English is his second language, so when we get into the reading material, I'm not going to dunk on him being rough around the edges of English, because that's a very shitty and unfunny and uncool thing, so that's not really in the goof arsenal.
But the overarching content is fair game.
In fact, this dude actually wrote his fanfiction twice. I actually want to give him some congrats on this. He wrote a Spanish and an English version, which is like actually really badass. That's really impressive to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, none of this is going to be dunking on the language. It's his content.
Absolutely, because there are some questionable things in this.
You're saying that like you know, but so there was actually a funny thing before this episode where a friend of ours who knew about this story almost said it around you, and it got really awkward because I had to like yell like, stop, no, stop.
Shut up.
Because the spirit of Dumpster Dive is you don't know what the topic is going to be.
I was really trying to guess when you were doing that whole intro. I was going like maybe like My Little Pony something, Fallout Equestria or something. Like,
okay, I can see. I kind of led you astray with like Pony.
A little bit, and then it looped right back around, so I'm fine.
So, one unfortunate thing, and the good thing about this being edited, is that I don't have Wattpad open.
Please stand by. Do.
I didn't link it. What? Oh, no, here it is. No. It can't be. Oh. Now here's the thing.
No.
If it is gone, it might be gone or it might just be a glitch like last time. I have all my notes written down, so we can still do the episode, but this might be the last.
Oh, this is like the send-off. The
Alright, hang Wattpad just down.
Okay. That happened last time too.
Wattpad is very faulty.
For many reasons.
Oh. No, I think it's gone.
Oh no. It can't be.
It is.
Can't be.
So there's been a development.
New break in the case.
Okay. So I'm going to continue with my description, and I now have to augment something. So, this fiction, Game After Life, Judy Hopps' Heart Walkrunner, is a Wattpad fanfiction, or I should say it was a Wattpad fanfiction.
Heartbreaking.
Because seemingly it has been deleted.
Heartbreaking. Oh my god.
Walkrunner posted this work in question onto Wattpad, but I've actually found him all over the place. He's got a Facebook page. It's titled Dredd Astley Walkrunner, so his real name, but with Hopps. It's actually a profile, but it's one of those that are all tricked up to like be public and made for following instead of friending.
You know what? He took her last name. I respect that.
You know what? That's pretty progressive.
You love to see it in
Let me see if
fanfic.
Dredd Astley Hopps is still
God, imagine if he just erased all of just every part of him from the
It's
internet.
not showing up.
No.
They're just screenshots.
Oh my God!
So here's the thing
a
about this
ghost!
episode. The material we're going to be talking about, it's been deleted. Which means this is going to be the last relic, the last place you can find the story of Game After Life by Walkrunner. And I think that's kind of beautiful, because thank God I did write all the notes for it beforehand.
Really, this is kind of its Viking funeral.
So, at the time
Send it off into that sweet night.
At the time that I wrote this whole thing out, he actually had way more of a Facebook presence than a Wattpad one. So he would blog about his relationship with Judy. He had almost 4,000 followers on Facebook and only 17 followers on Wattpad.
What a weird number.
With a combined 1.2 thousand reads on the work that we're going to dive into. So very not well known.
It's niche, yeah.
And that's the thing about Wattpad. You can also just as easily delete a book.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. We've witnessed that. He's also posting frequently on his Facebook page.
Yeah.
So that's one of the
updates.
reasons he's got so many followers, like sometimes 1 or 2 posts every day.
Oh my God.
And I'm actually going to ignore the Facebook canon a bit, which is kind of fair since it's gone now, and I didn't make notes about that.
That's fair.
However,
but, like, I feel like that's an integral part.
what I actually want to add, he was also, along with being very into Judy Hopps, he was also weirdly super into kickboxing. So there are sometimes just videos of him practicing kickboxing.
I'm just gonna like make this bet right now. I bet he fucking loved the bit in Zootopia where Judy Hopps was in the boxing ring. I bet he was all about that. Are you
I don't think he
kidding me?
mentioned it. Like at all.
Oh, come on. If he's into kickboxing and Judy Hopps, that scene was made specifically with him in mind.
So he's very into mixed martial arts and kickboxing, and has a whole other page unrelated to Judy Hopps that's about that. I think that one just like his actual name.
Yeah.
So for book stats, the book or the dramatic war novel that I clutched from the war after losing him, after not finding it. He was not dead, he was missing. Wow. We did not find him, and what I think happened is what happens in this book. It's kind of a time loop thing, and that's how I got back.
Okay.
So what we're about to discuss is very underground and also very recent, because so the first upload was July 15th
This year?
this year. And since there's there wasn't a year, so just July 15th, and it was last updated August 20th, which is when I wrote this out, and then we got busy, and now it's gone. So very short, like a phoenix.
Like I wrote
Right, this is the ashes of Walkrunner's
like
Game
a
After Life.
beautiful monarch butterfly, only lived for a day.
And from what I could tell, it was still ongoing. In fact, there were actually only 3 chapters that I did not get the notes of, but thankfully I actually wrote it in such a way that it was still kind of a cliffhanger type of deal. Hopefully we can find more by the end, but...
Oh my God.
So this is the description. I actually copied the description, which, thank God, passed me.
Yeah, I know,
Like,
yeah. Props
Since
to
now that
Seth.
there's no description anymore, because it's gone.
Come on. Yeah, I'm gonna need that description.
In parentheses, fanfic, in all caps.
Really?
After death, and after being sent and got survived the most brutal battles of World War II in Europe, Walkrunner or Dredd, this is my note, it only calls him Dredd in the book, so I'll switch back and forth, but it also calls him Walkrunner. It switches a lot between Dredd and Walkrunner.
Okay.
I'll just kind of default to one or the other.
No, gotcha.
Walkrunner or Dredd asks and wishes to be with Judy Hopps and love her forever, but being in Zootopia, he will be granted 12 very difficult jobs that he must fulfill to God around the heavenly world and places, while at the same time he faces a lurking creature of darkness and threats that will try to end his game. If he is dead, his soul will vanish for always, but Dredd wishes to stand and fight to love Judy forever. And there's a heart emoji and a rabbit emoji.
What the fuck? That's actually kind of really cool.
Here's the thing.
If it like
Now here's the thing.
Yeah.
When I was writing the notes for the book, I was actually kind of getting into it.
No, because that sounds really cool.
It's very original. It's very
And
wild.
also Zootopia.
And it's about a grown man who is in love with Judy Hopps, the rabbit from Zootopia.
A couple questions. One, so Dredd / Walkman is from the 40s?
Oh, real quick. I did find the cover of the book.
Oh, please, yeah. Oh, fuck.
He has a gun. I think it's an M16 rifle. and he's posed next to Judy Hopps.
In front of Zootopia.
And there's also so many pictures of him, as you probably saw from that preview. That's him. That's actually him. He takes a lot of selfies and edits Judy Hopps in with him. Since these pictures are still around on Google Images because it works on a contained basis, I'll maybe make a post somewhere.
Oh my god, that's so good.
I'm going to actually see if, since this is... Yeah, the story's deleted.
Fuck. God. This is the Library of Alexandria of our time.
This is like the archiving of this. Okay, and I also just found a screenshot of the Dredd Astley Walkrunner Facebook page. My faith of love you and to be with you will stand to the end until I achieve it. I love you truly, Bunny. There's kind of that's the description for his profile.
Okay.
There's a very strange fiction where even though in the book spoilers, as you can assume, he does eventually end up with Judy Hopps.
Yeah.
On the Facebook page, even when I was still writing it, when it was in present time, he was still yearning for Judy Hopps. So it seems very realistic. He is genuinely seeking the real Judy Hopps to come to him and love him.
Okay.
There is one very sad thing about the book being deleted.
Yeah.
And it's that sometimes he would draw scenes.
No.
And they were in color pencil, and it was really good. And now those are unfortunately gone unless someone took screenshots.
Damn it. Fuck.
It's a real sad.
See, okay, I have a couple questions about the fiction of this Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a separate reality from the fanfic.
I think it's this reality.
Just
That's why I said I wouldn't count it in the canon because
he's just kind of standing Judy Hopps at this point.
He is genuinely propositioning and photoshopping pictures of him with Judy Hopps, and it doesn't feel like a joke.
Congrats to him for figuring out what he wants in life. I wish we all could be that brave. Okay. To go back to my earlier question, if Dredd / Walkman was...
Walkrunner. I will not have...
Pardon me, Walkrunner. If he was from the 40s, how does he know what Zootopia is?
I think he was sent back to the 40s like I was.
I see.
He might have met the same sexy tiger.
I mean, hey, that's... Tigers and bunnies really don't, equate, so maybe he, did not find that tiger sexy.
Maybe that's why I don't find Judy Hopps sexy.
Do you not find Judy Hopps sexy? Let's talk about this.
All right.
What animals from
Avi.
Zootopia are sexy?
Hey, Avi, you said that like you were offended. Do you think Judy Hopps is sexy?
No.
Okay. Good talk.
Nick Wilde is a bit sexy. We're going to put that out.
We're going to end this podcast.
I'll tell you
who's fucking sexy. I'll tell you who's fucking sexy, dude.
The little mole guy.
No, there's some rhinos and there's two rhino brothers. You know what? We'll get into that.
Wait, what?
Do you want to get...
Yeah, I'm sorry for stalling. Let's dive into this.
I wrote chapters 1 through 6. I wrote notes, and I wrote the titles of the chapters. Apparently, past me had a fucking premonition that it would be the last remnant.
Yeah.
Chapter 1, the Walkrunner speech and beginning. So this speech I will read in full.
Great.
I didn't write it down. I put a link to Wattpad so that I could leave.
Heartbreaking.
However, I recall it. That it was basically the same as the description, but really long and poetic. That the gist of it, the meaning, I, Dredd Astley Walkrunner, or Walkrunner, will dive into the world of Zootopia. I will find Judy, and on my time there, I will speak to God. God, this entire time, this actually gives the exposition. God is present and is giving Walkrunner 12 missions. He must complete 12 missions in order to sustain his love and to basically save reality.
That's fair. I will say, okay, so is this God in the Zootopia timeline or God in just general?
It would be the God that Walkrunner knows. Okay. So, if we're following, this could be the 1940s God.
Yep.
You know how like God changes every decade?
Yeah.
Like a clothing aisle, there's like really different fashion trends. Like this God is a furry, this God's an e-boy, this God's an e-girl.
You would say that the Zootopia God is a furry.
Definitely. You think God's a sexy tiger?
No, that's too obvious.
Yeah.
When you die and go to heaven, do you become one of the Lord's sheep?
So after the speech, we're suddenly thrown onto a train, which is what reading this book feels like. So we got that pretty accurate.
You're thrown onto a train.
It's revealed he's hopping this train, to
Hey.
get to Zootopia, and on his way there, this dialogue happens between him and God. I kept putting references in my notes to the book that's gone, but basically, God comes to him and says, Walkrunner, I have 12 missions for you. And Walkrunner's like, what's in it for me? And then God's all like, the love of your life.
And he
You
just
must do these for
knows.
me.
Okay.
So after that dialogue, the train passes through a desert and he starts to reflect. He calls Judy a creature, which is kind of weird. So there's like a species difference awareness. He's like this beautiful creature.
that could also just be like metaphorical.
This beautiful creature. It's not metaphorical. It's a rabbit. It's not a metaphor.
He could mean it metaphorically.
There's no metaphors here. It's
I'm
just exactly
saying.
what it means.
Sometimes people are like, wow, what a beautiful creature. To just about another
No, they don't.
person.
They're not real. So he gets off the train and he's amazed by all the amazing animals, as he calls them.
Amazed by the amazing animals.
He's amazed. He's like utterly...
So he's just like a dude, right?
Yes, to be clarify, Walkrunner is just a man.
So that must have really messed with the animals of Zootopia. Like, what the fuck is
Yes,
that?
immediately there's a possum that commits a microaggression against him by loudly asking what kind of creature he, Walkrunner,
That's not
is.
cool. You can't
because he's a
ask that.
human among animals. He's just like, what kind of creature is
Wait,
that?
so is he tall?
Yes.
He's just like a dude size.
This comes up. This actually comes up in the... Well, I'm not going to spoil it, but it comes up.
Uh-huh.
It's addressed. So a possum commits a microaggression, just a real tiny hate crime,
Yeah.
which almost starts a scene. But Walk runs away so that he can find the police station because he knows that's where Judy would be. So he knows the fiction of the film.
Okay.
So I think Dredd is meant to be aware of the Zootopia film, and it's kind of like he is entering the film verse.
Okay. No, yeah. No, I get... All right.
So he gets to the station and he hides behind a wall, so he's being covert. He's being covert and keeps talking about how his dream is finally coming true. That dialogue comes up so many times. He's really like building it up. His dream is finally coming true.
Uh-huh.
So Dredd actually sees Judy with Nick, and he screams out to her. And apparently, according to God, the first of the 12 jobs is completed. Apparently, it was finding his way to the police station and finding Judy for the first time.
Okay.
The ending of this chapter makes it really clear how much Walkrunner means all of this. He is speaking with genuine sincerity, and I remember the line, like, I will find you, Judy. Like, the way that he writes with conviction is, like, borderline a manifesto.
The Judy Hopps manifesto.
And this
Honestly, good for you, dude.
starts chapter 2, the Zootropolis.
Ooh.
So it kind of describes this wild meat cute, but also it's surprisingly self-aware.
Yeah.
And it actually doesn't make it as easy as you would think from a typical fan fiction. For one thing, Judy immediately asks, as Dredd is like reaching out to her, like, who are you? Kind of another, like, kind of weird, you can't ask people why they're not white.
Yeah.
We also determined there's a considerable height difference, as you brought up, because Dredd is 1.70 meters, or 5'6", short king, and Judy Hopps, though it doesn't say it directly, is, a rabbit. But she's up to his ribs, is how he describes it.
Does that include ears?
Actually, so I opened the height comparison chart online to do some conversions, and my guess is that she would be around 4'5", give or take an inch.
That's pretty tall for a rabbit, yeah.
I'm assuming because, like, anthro and also
anthro,
the ears.
Yeah.
So Dredd straight up says he wants to be her friend, not answering the question.
Yep.
Not wanting to waste time, and Judy goes, okay, what kind of animal are you? What district are you from?
So what district are you from?
What district are you from? Before he can even answer, 2 big rhino cops that he describes as badass come and arrest him. He asks Judy to help him. He's like calling out, Judy, please help me. She asks what's going on, and they reveal he is actually, quote, a big fugitive. They use the words, he's a big fugitive.
He's a big fugitive.
The cops drive off, which is weird since they're at the police station.
I also really want to question the, mechanics of 2 rhinos grabbing a human. Because they big.
They are big. They would crush him.
They would
And
just
he's a
crush
short
him.
king. He's 5'6".
He's a short king, so that's got to be really tough. I hate this.
The cops drive off, but they're at the police station, so I don't know where they're going.
Yeah, they drive off and just take him a couple times around the block for funsies.
They're running up the tax fare. Judy's just left confused. Nick, who has also been standing there the entire time in stunned silence, if you remember.
Oh, I remember.
He asks the line, "What the hell just happened?"
Me
so imagine
too,
just
Nick.
a tiny fox.
Me too, Nick.
And Judy responds that she doesn't know, but that it was strange and interesting. Judy apparently wants to know more about this strange creature. So we actually have a parallel of Walkrunner being that beautiful creature and Judy being that strange creature.
That's kind of fun. I would just say, if I, Judy Hopps,
yes,
was approached by a creature I have never seen before, who said, "I want to be your friend," and then was arrested by 2 big rhinos that said he's a big fugitive, I would not want to know more. I'm good.
Now, see, imagine, though. See, this is where you messed up. Imagine a real sexy alien comes down, and then 2 cops arrest the alien.
I'd say, yeah, arrest the alien.
One
Aliens
of
are
those.
scary.
A liberal.
I would argue that's not liberal.
So Judy apparently wants to know more about the strange creature, thinking he's mysterious, and is intrigued by him despite being a fugitive. The fugitive thing really is not a red flag for
She's
her.
a cop,
Yeah.
so she wouldn't be down with that.
They toss him into a prison cell alone, and he starts drooling over thoughts of Judy yet again, when suddenly God comes back.
Oh, what's up, God?
God explains that something is out of his control. A dark energy is coming that is manifesting dark creatures that are going to fight Dredd, and that Dredd has to fight back. So the scenes happen. Chief Bogo, the big buffalo officer from the movie, comes in, and Dredd calls him a bull or a big goat.
Nope.
And there's just, he doesn't know what he is for some reason, even though he's very into Zootopia. And so it becomes a running joke of that big goat?
You've watched the movie. He's a big character, voiced by Idris Elba. You know he's a bull.
Oh,
He's like a water buffalo.
No, he's a
right?
Cape buffalo.
Yeah.
No, he's like a big bull or a big goat or something. And I wrote, this dialogue happens, again, linking to the story that doesn't exist anymore, sad as time. Actually, maybe I'll click it just in case.
Just in case, yeah.
Nah, it's still, story's still deleted.
Damn it.
Dredd reveals he survived Stalingrad and more.
Wait. Wait.
So they're talking basically kind of like a interrogation. Who are you? Where are you from?
I survived Stalingrad.
And Dredd does give answers. He tells him to call him Dredd or Walkrunner.
Uh-huh.
It says either one. He survived Stalingrad and more. Does not clarify what and more is.
Yeah.
And he came here to find Judy and help Zootopia. Bogo is confused reasonably.
Yeah.
And Bogo leaves immediately because another inmate is shouting, and so that's kind of the plot device.
Gotta
oh,
go.
that inmate's being real loud. I gotta walk away. Or it would be because he's got hooves.
He's got hooves, yeah.
That's what hooves sound like.
There it is.
So Dredd takes a nap, wakes up to Judy freeing him with big keys. It specifies big keys.
Big keys.
He says, "Wow."
Wow, those
And
are
asks-
some big keys.
I think maybe he's talking about a key ring, a big ring of keys, but he calls them just
Big keys.
some big keys.
Some big-
or maybe it's a size comparison because she's small.
And they need to be big because there are rhinos on the police force.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
sip of water.
dude. And so he asks what she's doing, and it turns out she needs his help outside. They run out and see a bunch of those darkness creatures that God talked about. They're biting animal citizens. One tries to attack Judy, but she dodges, and Dredd kills it with one swooping kick. So we see his kind of past experience.
And you see his MMA stuff.
his
coming
MMA
in.
style, his masterful.
Okay. Couple questions here.
Yes,
Does the World War II aspect play into any of this?
it's only his backstory from what I can tell.
cool.
It's just
That's where he
which is
came
also
from.
weird because, as we know, because he has a Facebook page, Walkrunner is
Like a dude.
would be our age, maybe a little older.
Just make him from here.
But that's not as fun as World War II. He survived Stalingrad, Avi. Don't be disrespectful.
more.
Avi, respect our vets.
God,
So he kills her with one swooping kick. Dredd and Judy start to evacuate, and they start evacuating people, but suddenly another human appears in black tactical gear, including a gun, which is specified as an M4 carbine.
Okay,
It's a big machine gun.
Okay. Hey,
Dredd jumps on his neck, knocks him unconscious into a car, and takes the gun in one sentence. He jumps on his neck, and he's pushed into a car, and he's knocked unconscious.
And then he grabs,
picks up the gun.
Yeah.
And that's the gun you saw in the cover.
I see. Okay, I'm gonna say something, and I'm really sorry about this, but this sounds mildly like some plot elements of Death Stranding.
It specifies the fight was an hour long with the rest.
Is the guy in tactical black gear Mads Mikkelsen? Because that was Death Stranding.
I didn't see anything about
I
Death
also
Stranding.
didn't play it. I just know Mads Mikkelsen was a time-traveling soldier boy.
What is the plot of Death? Well, I shouldn't ask.
Literally
I shouldn't
no
even
one
ask.
fucking knows.
Is that Kojima?
Kojima.
Yeah. Kojima's an artist, but not in the way that
I just
is
know
for
that you can be like a
understanding.
Norman Reedus Piss Simulator, so
Norman Reedus Piss Simulator.
it's the game we all
This guy
love.
would really like that game, I bet. Specifies that this fight was an hour long with the rest of the Darkness creatures, and eventually the police and Dredd win.
How is it an hour long?
And that's how it ends on them like victoriously coming out of this fight. It took an hour to kill all the Darkness
He
creatures.
did 2 moves.
He kills the Darkness creatures.
Okay.
They're like moving the rest of the creatures out.
I see. I don't see. I lied.
And chapter 3 starts, titled The Big Cleaning.
What?
Oh.
Yeah?
That's just what he calls gentrification.
I was gonna say that sounds a bit like cleansing.
We both had some... Oof.
Oh, he came from World War II. Did they mention what side he was fighting for?
They don't, but he was held in Stalingrad... Wait.
Hey, bud?
It doesn't come up, so
Hey, bud?
this is the first time
the
I've had to
Russians
think.
were part of the Allies.
I know. That's why I'm... Was Walkrunner part of the...
Was he a Nazi?
Was Walkrunner a Nazi? Hang on. What if this is why he deleted his stuff?
Oh my fucking god. Okay.
And here's the thing. It doesn't come up in the book, which is what... Obviously, I wouldn't be, like, promoting, like, a Nazi
of course
goof.
not, of course
But,
not.
like...
Wait a
Because I did not think about that. I was
Wait
just
a
like...
minute.
I was stuck in Stalingrad.
Helen, because Russia was part of the. I learned from Italia.
Bad things you're saying. You're saying bad things.
I could feel like I could only add on to the pile of bad things happening right now.
Well, you sure are adding.
You're welcome.
No, wait. I feel like I remember him talking about fighting Nazis. Okay, let's continue before we do our investigation.
Yeah, we'll get back to everybody on this.
Okay. Ignore the enormous thing we just found. So the big cleaning. The fight is over, and they regroup with some pals, including Nick, Chief Bogo, and Benjamin.
They wouldn't hang out.
So he.
I'm sorry to poke a hole in this. They wouldn't.
I said
hang out.
they regroup. They weren't hanging out.
Okay, all right. That's good.
And Benjamin is the fun, like, chubby cheetah character who's like, oh, it's so
Benjamin
cute.
Clawhauser, I love him.
Yeah. It specifies that they all have tiny guns, which is a wonderful
Little
image.
guns.
Little guns.
Little guns.
When Bogo sees Dredd, he demands that he drops his gun and even says the fuck word.
Are there guns in Zootopia?
Apparently, but they're little.
No, in the movie, were there guns?
I feel like they had handguns just kind of on their sides, but were never drawn.
I don't think they had guns.
Well, they would have claws and stuff, and like nipple milk, and like big tongues if you were a frog, and you could catch like bug criminals, and
Well, no, because there were a lot of there were also a lot of like prey animal cops.
oh, and they were given guns.
They got guns. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. Zootopia wasn't like brave enough to make any cops pigs, but Sing was. So I think we can all agree what
I
the
thought you were
superior
going to
movie
say that Zootopia wasn't brave enough to give them their Second Amendment, right? So Dredd complies, and Nick calls out to Judy, and they hug, and Dredd gets really jealous. So
Yeah.
he's kind of like cucking himself because he's writing this scenario.
Yeah.
The cops come over and say they appreciate the help, but that he's got to go because they don't want any more trouble. They suggest he sleeps over in the park quote, with the other homeless.
Whoa.
And he goes there.
Whoa.
Like, why don't you go to the park with the other homeless?
Whoa, Walkrunner.
I assume maybe just kind of a bad thing from the translation.
Still.
But he
You think... I cannot get over that he's from the 40s. I can't get over that.
He is from the
But he's not originally from the 40s. He's from our time, who went to the 40s.
somehow.
Who then
He
traveled.
somehow served in World War II. Or I guess
On
since that's not
someone's
specified,
side.
he was from World War II and then knew about Zootopia and then entered Zootopia.
I like to think that he just knew about Zootopia in the 40s.
So he sleeps under a tree in the park because he has nowhere else to go. And apparently word of the human fighter is going around. He wakes up to Mayor Lionheart giving a speech on a big screen, which I guess is just in the park.
No, they have that.
Oh, is that a thing?
There's a big screen up like in like the Times Square equivalent.
Okay,
I
that's
assume-
probably what he meant.
I assume that's
I
what
was
it is,
assuming
yeah.
just like a floating screen in the park. Lionheart explains the breach of the dark creatures, talks about the officers on the scene who fought, including a strange creature called Human. He says, as I always say, we need heroes and people who are willing to sacrifice for the city and willing to do good at any cost.
That's a great
Juno
that's a
Steel.
great J.K. Simmons.
He tells Zootopia to have a good day.
Thanks, bud.
3 animals died during the attack, and an unlisted number were wounded.
All right, Zootopia, have a good day. Also, 3 animals died.
Have a good day.
Have a good
there were
day.
3 casualties. An unnumbered amount were wounded. Dredd tries to... Oh, sorry. Okay, so Dredd gets approached by what is described as an elegant and black car with a white fox driving it to get in because someone wants to meet him.
Is it Mr. B?
Fox keeps clarifying the fox keeps clarifying, like, you can trust me. You can trust me.
It's cool. It's cool. Don't worry
And
about
that
it.
he's safe, which is definitely
That is
reassuring.
not what you want to hear. Yeah.
The fox drives him to Mayor Lionheart and the same 2 rhino cops again. He's a very big fan of the badass rhino cops, as he keeps calling them. The mayor wanted to thank him personally and doesn't know how to pay him, but says he has his respect.
Thanks. Give me money.
Dredd tries to butt in that he has one thing he really wants, and the dialogue goes like, there's one thing that I really want, and obviously this is Judy, and you, how would that transaction work? But he gets nervous, and so it's that trope where they're like, there's one thing I really want, spit it out, son, what do you want? And then what he ends up saying in nervousness is he wants to help with something again.
Fuck off.
So his payment for doing a
Just say you want
job,
to fuck the rabbit.
his payment for doing a job is doing another job. And so the mayor says the streets are really dirty because of the destruction from the day before, so he should clean them up. And
With your
God,
opposable thumbs.
and God pops in again to say his second job is that he has to do all of that in less than 1 day.
What the fuck, God? That's not cool.
He leaves and paces, thinking about Judy and Nick, really hung up on that. And also, he cleans up all the garbage, no help, he just does it. It's a paragraph-long endeavor. He just does it in 1 day.
He just does it. Yeah, no worries. No worries, God. He's on it.
He sleeps under his tree again, thinking about Judy, yearning and aching. Benjamin comes and wakes him up and reveals that the police department, the one that didn't want him around, has a room for him to sleep in now.
Okay, all right.
He gets a little bed and takes off his shirt because he only sleeps in trousers and goes to sleep.
Trousers?
Okay, I remembered something. There's a detail. He's on the British side. He specifically wants to be like a British soldier. That comes up.
Okay.
That's why I didn't.
Thank
That's why I did not think
God.
anything of it. But it's mentioned later.
Thank God. Okay. Weird.
So when he converts to English, he's converting to like English.
English. Oh, like the stupid English. Okay, that's why
Yeah.
trousers is a word. Okay.
Well, so trousers.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad we solved that.
Thank God.
Apologies for the earlier scare, everyone. There was an alert sound. Like play the anti-alert sound.
Yes, yeah. We're coming off of what? Like code
Goes to sleep.
goes to sleep.
Goes to sleep. Chapter 4, the twice mission of Judy and Walkrunner.
Okay.
Do you have anything to say so far?
This has definitely made my headache worse.
Oh yeah, Avi did come into the studio with a headache.
This didn't help.
Oh, actually, real talk, how you doing?
My head hurts.
Okay, is it real bad?
I can get through.
Okay, we can speed through. We're actually exactly halfway through, and I can like just kind of speed through the rest
Oh,
while doing
okay,
funny
okay.
commentary.
It's real bad. It's real bad. But the thing is, I could so imagine this story be better if it was an original thing. You know?
Yeah.
Like
a pursuit of... This feels like some kind of, like, HBO movie.
No. First of all, the weird chores from God.
The weird chores from God.
I like how
Let's
fighting off darkness outside of the police department wasn't a task, but cleaning the streets is.
Yes, that's a weird thing. And also, I thought it would maybe be like each chapter would be a task. We're in chapter 4, and he's only done 2 of the 12.
So he's got to... I mean, it only took a paragraph. So he's got to...
One only took a paragraph.
I think he can speed through some of them. And he did one without even knowing it, so, like...
That's fair.
Also, why?
It's chapter 4. It starts with Dredd waking up, and the narration really jerks itself off to how much of a hero he is.
Oh my god.
A tiger worm woman suddenly busts into his room
You son of a bitch.
without knocking to give him food, and he feels sad that he's not cradling Judy. He's constantly yearning that Judy is not constantly sucking his dick. Or married to him.
I feel like there are other rabbits.
No, it's just Judy. It's only Judy.
Judy Hopps.
He actually hates rabbits, but he loves Judy.
See,
Oh, actually,
That's not great.
I was gonna say that's not true because I'm mixing up the scene from Beastars. Okay, he goes downstairs, greets Chief.
What does this guy think about Beastars?
He's got to be a fan, right?
He's gotta be.
If he
a
knows
fan.
about, I don't think he knows about
Wolf
it.
Job? We gonna see?
Hey, we gonna see
Wolf Job?
We gonna see Walk Job? We gonna see Dread Job? Okay. Hey, we gonna see Dread Job? This video was sponsored by Bad Dragon. Bad Dragon. Bad Dragon, if you want to sponsor Dumpster Dive, please, I'm begging you. I remember on the first Dumpster Dive when like you and I were competing. No, it was Offbeat. It was an episode of just Offbeat highlights going through the Dark series, which is a different series. Check that out on the Another Tier Presents.
Particularly the one about the dragon named Dark. Do you think?
What, like? Do you think do you think these two fucked or?
No. Do you think Bad Dragon would ever make a?
Hey, Bad Dragon, would you consider making a Patrick Estacado dildo? Bad Dragon, if you want to sponsor me, SethCorvidRose@gmail.com. Hit me up.
Get at her.
I'll do it for cheap. I think you're a very ethical company, and I've heard only good things. Your support of the queer community and independent artists really harmonizes with me. Just hit me up.
You also have, like, in your pin section, you do have ace pins, which are very fun.
Oh yeah, I was gonna buy stickers.
Oh yeah.
But I forgot. Apparently, you can only order 5 things at a time. You can't order more.
Limiting. Wow. What if I want to order 6 dildos?
I was actually gonna order the little weenies, just like
Those
the
are
tiny,
really funny.
just because those were funny.
Those are funny.
We should get back into the episode.
Yeah.
Dredd wakes up, and the narration really jerks itself off.
Yeah.
Yada yada. There's a sexy tiger. He goes downstairs and greets Chief Bogo, who reveals he cannot sleep in the room anymore. But then he points him to the washroom and tells him to meet them afterwards because they have a big talk.
Why can't he sleep in the room anymore, Chief Bogo?
Because he hates humans. I don't actually know.
What?
It's actually never said why. He just doesn't like Dredd.
Then what? Okay.
He's there for just some extra generated conflict. So I think it's meant to be the conference room, but it's referred to as the room of talks, which is really good. One of the things that I really love about him translating to English as a second language is he says some really fun stuff.
That's cool as shit. The
Room of Talks is awesome.
We have to rename our conference room to the Room of Talks.
The Room of Talks. I mean, it's not wrong. He mentions the 2 rhino cops are also there. They're very important.
I think he wants to fuck these rhinos.
I want to say eventually they're named.
Eventually. I think they're Vinny and
Place your bets.
Ronald.
Pretty close.
Vinny and Ronnie.
Pretty close. 2 special missions are assigned. So 1, a businessman named Tiger Anthrax. That's one word. It's anthrax without the H. Tiger Anthrax reported one of his properties were stolen by unknown subjects, and the other is several reports of more darkness creatures in the forest close to the Bunny Burrow. Bogo assigns Dredd to murder the creatures, asks if anyone wants to join him, and everyone is real spooked, but then surprisingly, Judy volunteers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Judy says she wants to help since her family lives there, and she wants to test something new.
Hey, that's not in fucking Zootopia. That's not your jurisdiction.
Bogos.
ZPD. Hey, no. You know what? No, I'm mad about this. That's not their fucking jurisdiction. She had to take a train to get to Zootopia city limits. That's not their
And
fucking
they do change the
jurisdiction.
distance. It's in the forest nearby rather than the train.
No,
Yeah.
no,
No, that's the thing. They changed the geography.
that's bullshit. Because it's in the Zootopia.
Avi's real mad.
I'm really. That's not okay. I'm sure that the bunny burrows have their own form of law enforcement to help here. Like if I'm sorry, that's not their fucking jurisdiction.
I mean, you're right.
Particularly not like, because in the fiction of Zootopia, Judy Hopps was assigned to city center, which is the middle of Zootopia. That's like where all the hotshot cops go. So she can't be assigned to places outside of city limits. She can't go.
But here's the thing. Bogo suggests she should do it because she's so little, but Dredd knocks that right down, claiming he'll protect her.
Oh, ew.
So Nick and Alex, who is a panther, are sent to the businessman plotline.
Yeah, that seems weird. Okay.
Dredd and Judy are given equipment, as well as instructions to photograph and video their hunt. They are given 9mm pistols, belts, 1 grenade, 2 tactical vests, and the M4 carbine from earlier. He also keeps mentioning something called providers. Like, he has a bunch of providers, but I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
He says it a lot.
Providers. Okay.
Googling did not help. Oh, I lost my place.
I don't get.
As they leave the department, it's revealed Judy remembers Dredd, meaning I guess she forgot, and that they did the whole dark creature battle.
Yeah, that happened like yesterday.
She asks again why he came to Zootopia, apparently forgetting their first interaction completely.
God, he was arrested in front of her. How do you forget that?
And he's all nervous, so he lies and says he just wanted to help animals in need.
This motherfucker has no game. Are you kidding me?
Since that's why Judy's doing her whole... Okay, this next interaction is literally like the nice guy is like, because he really wants to touch her ears.
Ew.
I know, he does touch her ears, and she smiles. It's a really weird interaction.
That's not okay, actually. That's not okay.
The voice of God suddenly erupts yet again.
Stop being horny.
It's revealed the dark creatures have a golden apple that Dredd needs to retrieve to give to an angel, which is his third mission of 12. Avi's fallen onto the floor of the dumpster. He's just sloshing around in the slime. They walk all the way there, and Judy immediately touches a tree and gets into one of those rope traps because she needs to be damseled and distressed. You know, where it's like you step into a rope and it's just like, oh, I'm upside down now. So it calls Dredd Walkrunner for the first time in the actual passage, so I think that's like his fighting persona. Walkrunner pulls his gun on a white dog that appears, who calmly introduces himself as Zeus the Hermit.
What the fuck is going on?
He tells him to calm down. It's his trap. He didn't mean it, and invites them back to his place. Hey, you want to come back to my place?
Ew.
He gives them,
Fuck off.
and as a like housewarming treat, he gives them bread and water.
Nutritious.
Delicious. Zeus reveals he's also a magician.
You can't just drop that.
He apparently knows how much Dredd adores Judy and all the trials it took for him to get to Zootopia.
It took 3 trials.
This is also the first chapter that has illustrations, but like unfortunately those are gone.
Lost to the ages.
It's revealed the traps were set by Zeus to catch the dark creatures because they destroyed his apple trees, and he wanted to protect the rabbits.
Okay, couple questions here.
Yes.
What the fuck? Yeah.
That was one question.
Yeah. Where did the golden apple come from?
Zeus shows them a drawing he made of the dark creatures, says he's so proud of these two, and say they're welcome in his warm home anytime.
He's trying to fuck.
He's guys,
Zeus is trying
I don't know if you know what a unicorn is, but...
I hate you.
But I thought you were a white dog. No. Zeus the Hermit's just a big perv. They leave, and Judy pulls out her phone so she can start filming whenever they kill creatures. So this is a very big thing. They need to film whenever they kill.
Why?
And they need to make it look cool.
Wait.
What? When they kill, they need to make it look cool, and Judy needs to film all of Dredd's killing.
Why are they vlogging Dredd's killing now?
So immediately there's a scuffle. It's a big scuffle with some darkness wolves, and they have the golden apple, and he uses the frag grenade to take them out.
Yeah, the one grenade they have.
Okay. Suddenly there's another human firing from the trees who Dredd recognizes looks an awful lot like one of the Nazi soldiers he fought in World War II.
Okay.
This is why I wasn't scared.
Okay. Where did he come from?
But the dude quickly vanishes after Dredd punches him into oblivion. He just punches him and he vanishes. He gets the apple, presumably off the Nazi, and he and Judy hug and have a quick moment. Right. They saved the day. Woo. So on their walk back to Zootopia, they are approached by an angel.
As you are. Yeah.
Dredd gives him the apple. Or sorry, them the apple. I think they use them.
Hell yeah.
This transaction is over just as quickly as it started. The third trial is completed. Gonna get some water.
What is the plot relevance of this apple and the angel?
What's the third trial?
Other than that.
Well, Dredd... Okay, so Judy offers her place for Dredd to sleep at, which he does. Because, yeah. He admires all the things about her house, her animal teddies, her cups, and her vegetables to eat. Those are the things that he lists, that he admires. He sleeps on the ground, but he gets some pillows and a sheet at least.
Yeah, because I was going to say, because she lives in a one-room apartment.
Dredd really creepily insists that someday she could let him sleep with her.
Oh my god.
I think he means like literally like in the same bed, but like still. She takes a deep breath and says maybe someday. So like she doesn't even seem interested. She doesn't even seem interested in this fan fiction. She seems really uncomfortable. And that's how this chapter ends.
Oh.
Chapter 5 of 6.
Okay.
We're almost through. Chapter 5. In Love. Hell Again. That's the name of it.
In Love? Hell
it's
Again?
In Love, ellipses, Hell Again.
Is he going back to war?
Maybe. It opens up again with a narratively jacking himself off about all he's done to be in Zootopia, and now he's right here, sleeping in her house. Dude. Bro.
She's like not into it.
Yeah, like Walkrunner didn't even write her to be into it.
No.
He wakes up earlier, and there's this weird scene where he's looking at Judy, who he describes as looking like a kid with her teddies, and he remembers her being a kid wanting to be a cop in Zootopia, because, reminder, he saw the movie. And it made me realize how weird it is that he watched her grow up and stuff because of time.
Yeah.
He wants to touch her head and ears, but a wire just fell.
Yeah, I feel it.
That felt like prophetic. He wants to touch her head and ears, but thankfully doesn't, but says out loud how he wants to feel her bunny ears on his face.
Ew.
Gross. Oh my God. Fucking nasty. Bogo calls Judy, but it doesn't wake her up. So Dredd answers the phone. Judy's phone.
Not cool.
Bogo is yelling at Judy Hopps for not having the video evidence on his desk yet, and they're waiting for her. Reminder that they got home that night.
Yeah.
After the task was done. Like, the task was done at night, and so they just went to sleep. And it's the next morning. And when Dredd responds that there's this Dredd responds, and there's this awkward exchange of... The actual quote is, OMG, did you sleep with her? That's so weird.
From Bogo?
From Bogo. OMG, did you sleep with her? That's so weird.
I want to hear Idris Elba read that.
And after Dredd clarifies, Bogo says he doesn't care and hangs up.
It sounds like you care, bud.
He suddenly drops some exposition to Judy about how her teddies reminded him of one he had in the war when he was fighting with the British against the Germans, and that he actually wanted to sleep with her because it was like sleeping with a teddy bear when he was scared, and it's...
No.
Anyways, they get back to the room of talks.
Room of talks.
They show Bogo the video, and Bogo is just really fucking horny for it. He is about to pre. Yeah. Like, he keeps talking about how the fight scene is so cool, how, like, dynamic it is.
Get horny. He's got horny.
Do you want to say that louder, Avi?
Get it horny because he's, like, got horns. Because he's a water bottle. He's got horns.
I feel like a darkness creature is slowly possessing you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So keeps talking about it was so
Take
cool.
it away, boy.
And there's actually another illustration for this one. unfortunately gone. Apparently, this is meant to be evidence that they killed the dark creatures.
Okay.
They needed evidence that they killed the dark creatures, and that's why the video's so important.
I guess.
The meeting adjourns. Nick checks in on Judy. He mentions that they didn't find anything about the whole businessman plotline, which insinuates they're going to give it to Dredd, probably.
Yeah.
There's a weird scene where Bogo wants to reward Judy for doing her job by giving her money for breakfast. I guess just like a coupon for Denny's.
Here's a Dunkin' Donuts coupon.
Here's a gift card for IHOP.
IHOPs.
Fuck off. So he gives her like the gift card, and she asks if Nick and Alex can come, but Bogo really angrily says no because they didn't do their job yet. So of course that means Judy and Dredd get a cute breakfast date going.
Police officers don't get to go to IHOP.
And at this point, there's a poster that was there of like all 4 officers. He actually made a fan character for Alex the Panther. I think Alex is actually meant to be Nick's future love interest.
Fuck yeah. Gay rights.
I think Alex is a girl, but
Oh.
let's say non-binary because it doesn't really specify.
No, fuck yeah.
Alex is non-binary and they're valid.
You love to see it.
They order hotcakes at a very vaguely described restaurant. They basically decide to play 20 questions on each other. Judy asks Dredd's full name. Dredd asks Judy's age, which leads to a weird reveal that she's 24 and that he's 18, but that he was 24 when he served in World War II. So he's age traveling.
That's a big red flag.
So he's the same age as her, depending on when you look. I guess. Is what he's trying to say.
I guess.
Dredd asks Judy's full name, which is Judith Laverne Hopps, and then...
I doubt that's canonical.
It is canonical.
Damn it.
He googled that one, I bet.
Got me. All right.
And then Judy asks where he got his skills.
World War II, baby.
Hey, where'd you get your skills? It's the war. Dredd explains almost immediately, first vaguely, that he trained for many years, then very suddenly that he is from another world. God sent him on a series of missions and that he served in World War II. Judy admits she has no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Me too, Judy.
Because they don't have World War II.
Yeah.
They don't have Nazis.
I know. Okay.
So this is a foreign concept to her.
They've had wars.
They have, just not World War II. They walk around the street, holding hands, I think. It's made really unclear. He asks again if he can sleep with her, and she just says, come on, we're gonna go there? So it's like, it starts to get like a really weird, domestic dispute. They're at her place very suddenly. Dredd looks at stars at her window while sitting on her bed. Judy approaches after coming back from the bathroom. It's a whole setting. It's like, it really goes into detail about like the setting.
Okay.
It's really setting it. Judy talks about her dream to help people again. They hold hands, and they suddenly start kissing.
Ew, no.
I realized how long this chapter was because there's a second illustration, which is of their kiss, and so he drew art of them kissing, and he's like pulling her ears back.
Ew.
Or like holding her ears.
Oh my god.
She suddenly backs away because they're different species, so this love is forbidden.
No.
How's that Romeo and Juliet for you?
That's also not a thing.
I know. But then they immediately hug and sleep together. Like literally sleep, not sex, I think. And the chapter ends on that. Chapter 6. Oh!
No.
I saved the photo!
Oh my god! Yes! I love it so much!
So there's a Zootopia Police Department lineup of Dredd Astley Walkrunner, Judith L. Hopps, Nicholas Wilde, and Alexis Brown. Or Panther Alex. It's spelled Panther instead of Panther. Just the Panther.
Love it. Oh god, I love just the normal dude.
So that's just a love. It's a really good graph. It looks like a police line, He looks like he was arrested.
It looks like a mugshot.
Actually, can we appreciate Nick's pick?
It's kind of hot. I'm not gonna.
Look at his body. Look at how his body's
Wait,
proportioned.
never mind.
YouTube edit will see this.
They just photoshopped his head onto like a police body.
We suddenly swap perspectives. Also, this is the last. Okay, this is chapter 6.
What the fuck?
This is chapter 6, the Anthrax case.
Okay. Oh, so we're just switching gears.
At this point, there were 3 chapters after this, but because it's deleted, this is unfortunately where our story is going to end.
Yeah.
So chapter 6, we suddenly swap perspectives to Nick and Alex, who are sleeping in the police car doing some kind of stakeout, I think.
Yeah.
Bogo calls them and reveals Tiger Antrax's daughter has been ambushed and kidnapped.
Jesus.
They run into two badass rhinos. The Walkrunner keeps calling them, who we finally realized are named McHorn and his brother John Sandman.
Wait.
So the two rhinos finally given a name drop. Chapter 6, McHorn and John Sandman.
Why is he named Sandman?
It's John Sandman.
John Sandman. Why?
John's actually his title. It's like how you can be an Earl or a
Don.
Don.
My question is, wouldn't they have the same last name?
Maybe McHorn's name is
McHorn
Sandman.
Sandman?
I guess, but it just doesn't say it. It just specifies.
He just doesn't go by it. No,
Maybe it's saying like McHorn and John Sandman.
Okay. Weird.
They immediately lose the trail
Yeah.
and they go home. Of like the case, they're just like, all right, it's called in. Damn, I lost it. Well,
Yes, that's it.
guess we better go home.
Wrap it up, boys.
We go back to Dredd and Judy in what Walkrunner writes their wet bed. So I guess they were fucking. I think. They enjoy each other, as wordsmith Walkrunner says, and they go back to sleep afterwards. The way he describes it, I'm not sure if Dredd knows what sex is. I don't think he does.
Wet bed
Their wet bed.
is quite possibly the worst phrase I've heard to talk about sex in a fan fiction. And that's really fucking saying something's wrong. Oh my god.
They're just like a hose. That's how she waters her good vegetables that she likes to eat. Judy gets a call from her parents, which this time does wake her up. And even though it's a phone call, she asks that Dredd gets under the covers to hide so she can talk to them. The call is literally just them recapping the whole forest fight, because that was near Bunny Burrows.
I think they video called.
Maybe.
Because they video call her in the movie. And that
You're probably
might be
right.
why she asked him to hide.
Okay.
Even though there is still literally... She can,
All right, Avi's out here busting out his Zootopia knowledge. Hell yeah.
I don't mean to brag, but I did watch it last week, so...
Last week? Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. How was it?
Disney Plus subscription, baby. It's propaganda, but like...
It is propaganda, but other than that, it does have some interesting messages.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Animated really well.
If you guys like Zootopia, watch Beastars.
Watch Beastars.
I might rewatch Beastars.
It's so good. I need to watch the English dub again. I need to.
Yeah, Jonah Scott does so
Jonas
fucking
Scott's
good.
amazing, yeah.
And
Hey, Bad
Haru's voice
Dragons.
actress.
Sponsor
And-
Bad Dragon.
And fucking Louis.
He's
the whole
amazing.
The whole cast is
The
really
whole cast
good.
is fantastic. Yeah.
Bogo calls Judy to run her up to speed. Or no, sorry, Judy hangs up and dramatically proclaims the two can't sleep together because they're a human and a rabbit.
Already did.
Dredd says he loves her and that he is going to make her dreams come true.
Oh.
She tells him that he needs to find another place to sleep, but that
Wow.
they'll talk about this later.
Holy shit.
So it's getting, like, intense.
Whoa.
Bogo calls Judy to run her up to speed on the Tiger Antrax daughter kidnapping. They go to the station. Dredd is given a little gun and a cell phone to record more badass fight scenes.
He's not a cop.
And Dredd asks if he can have his room in the station back, which he gives at the cost of giving his full name, which is now Dredd Astley. So basically, Bogo's like, I'll give it to you.
You tell me
This
your
is my
full
voice.
name, kid.
It's Dredd Astley. We have the same voice. It would be more anime protagonist.
A more anime protagonist.
I'm Dredd Astley.
Why the fuck is he given a gun? He's not a cop.
What I also like is Dredd is his first name. Astley is not in his full name.
No.
And yeah, he's given a little gun.
A little gun.
They get their new gear and join Nick and Alex in the police car to search throughout Sahara Square.
Yeah.
Mayor Lionheart suddenly calls Dredd to repeat the whole case once again, that he has to help Tiger Antrax because he's been his partner for several years. Love wins. And in exchange, Lionheart says he will buy Dredd dinner with someone he wants, setting that whole thing up.
That's
And-
not that good of a reward.
So Lionheart says, if you find my friend Tiger Antrax's daughter, then I'll buy you dinner with whoever you want.
I have this Denny's coupon that I cannot seem to get rid of.
You know it's Applebee's.
That's true.
And,
Mayor Lionheart is an Applebee's
Chapter
guy.
6 ends on this. It ends with drama. Dredd and Judy Hopps, they've made sweet love, but they're not in love.
I wouldn't call it sweet love. It is a wet
They
bed.
made mediocre wet bed love.
Unhappy.
And now there's this whole challenge.
And he's got to find somewhere else to sleep.
And he has to do 9 more tasks from God. And thus ends what was the remains. Do you know how there's like the fragments of Sappho? This is the fragments of Walkrunner. His love between his World War II servant, astral projected avatar, and Judy Hopps. Thus ends what we have remaining of Game After Life.
A love story for the ages. I wonder what he thinks about
Well-
the Zootopia abortion comic.
Well, Avi, what did you think of that story?
I hated it
Okay.
with a passion.
All right.
Mainly because I do have a headache at
Okay.
the time of recording, so that could have gotten in
Could
the
have
way
been
of-
an influence.
could have gotten in the way a little bit of my enjoyment of this tale. I'm not over the photoshopped cover.
The Photoshop cover. The images still exist. Please go to Google Images searching for these things like Dredd Astley Hopps.
Please go for it, yeah.
Because there's a lot you'll find. People did thankfully take screenshots.
Wow.
Wait, I'm trying to see. Is it still deleted? It's still deleted. I can't believe that we are the last source of this book.
That's so.
That was not my intention going
that
into
is
it.
so heartbreaking.
But now we've documented it.
We'll make sure it never dies.
We did a service, and to be honest, that's actually kind of what Dumpster Dive's becoming. It's all stories, I'm noticing, not just like topics. We talk about stories. We embark on stories. We live in these worlds, Avi. We live in these worlds, and we see them.
We live in a society.
Uh-huh. Well,
Anyways,
uh,
now hop out of this dumpster.
actually, hey, can you call an ambulance? So I actually got shot when I was on the Eastern Lines, and they dropped me off here,
they were
and
just,
I've
like,
been
figure
bleeding
it
out throughout this whole reading.
I did notice why the floor was getting steadily just kind of more red. I thought that was
Yeah.
just kind of the lighting, but yeah, let's call you an ambulance.
Wait, who's out on the top of the dumpster? Chester! Oh my god!
He's back.
Chester, it's good to see you, buddy. I heard you got in some tax trouble.
Chester Bud, remember how you didn't keep up with the dumpster dives though? Remember that? No, it's cool. It's hey, it's cool. It's fine.
Chester,
Great to have you back.
Chester, I've been told in the war, I've been told by Walkrunner, when you love something, you gotta let it go. Chester, you do you, man.
There he goes, off into the sunset.
Flying.
How the fuck is he flying?
This has been Dumpster Dive Episode 3. Game. Let us walk run into the future.